NATO decision on moving towards Ukraine's membership to be agreed in few hours? Secretary General.
Here's a summary of the article.
NATO Secretary General Jens Stoltenberg is confident that the summit communiqué regarding Ukraine's membership, which will be adopted in a few hours, will contain positive language. Quote, "You would see the language in a few hours because we are now finalizing the communiqué. I said something about the elements I believe will be in there, but it's for the leaders to finally endorse and agree the communiqué," Stoltenberg said. Details. At the same time, he previously recalled that in May, at a meeting of ministers in Oslo, he proposed removing the requirement for the implementation of the action plan for Ukraine's membership in the alliance. Quote, "Ukraine has come a long way since we made that decision in 2008 that the next step will be a membership action plan. Ukraine is much closer to NATO, so I think the time has come to reflect that in NATO decisions," he said. "I am confident it will be a positive and a strong message on Ukraine and the path forward the membership," Stoltenberg said.
This post received a score of 18,000, with an upvote ratio of 94%. Here are the top comments in response to this article.
Until we get the official communique from NATO, it's impossible to tell how soon. But as others have mentioned, it's highly unlikely that Ukraine can join until the war with Russia has been resolved, as NATO do not want to have to enter a war with Russia as it could escalate beyond what it is currently. It does, however, send a message to Russia that this war is in fact what has allowed Ukraine to eventually join, in the total opposite to what they wished to achieve. This is everything Russia wanted to avoid.
The funny part about NATO is the only real requirement for joining is unanimous approval from existing members, and as we've all seen, this effectively gives any member an opportunity to create their own arbitrary requirements. It's been theorized that Ukraine could join NATO but be ineligible for A5 until the current conflict ends.
Don't they also have to have non-corrupt democratic governments and be able to approach the 2% GDP funding for NATO membership?
Turkey, anyone? Those are guidelines but not hard requirements. Prior to the Russian invasion, there were almost no countries outside the US at 2%. The standards are more about convenience, comparability and trust.
I would like to point out that on paper, Turkey's election system is good, and they have high voter turnout BC of compulsory voting. It's just that the current leader has allegedly found ways to exploit it to stay in power, and the system isn't perfect. It does have weaknesses.
Yeah, agreed. Turkey has had much better days for democracy and secularism. Or you have Hungary, where they now rank as free elections but not fair elections, due to government control of the media. It's a major warning for every democracy that we need to be very careful to not find ourselves losing our freedoms. Both Brazil and the USA are recent examples of close calls.
USA is already beyond controlled in media and elections.
Yup. We're classified as a backsliding democracy last I checked by independent analysts. At least we have more than one news bias, but between our electoral college, first past the post system, polarization and news bias, we're well on our way.
In 2014, a Princeton paper classified us as an oligarchy.
In 2014, a Princeton paper. Just saying, someone, somewhere will write something on every side of any debate, credible or not. This position may be credible, I'm not saying it isn't, but can you link this obscure 2014 paper so we can read it?
This decision could put high political pressure for further clamping down on corruption when this war is done with and Zelensky presumably steps down, to meet admission requirements. The people also want security guarantees, so there's also their pressure towards their governing bodies. Upholding democracy is one of the minimum requirements to joining NATO, and corruption undermines democracy. Edit 2. Alright, let's make it clear to those being smart about varying levels of corruption of current members.
This video was automatically created by Reddit to speech. The article and comments in this video were selected from Reddit according to their upvotes, and any paraphrasing was performed by smmry.com, without any human intervention.